Status quo, is Latin for the mess we're in.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Government's first duty is to protect the people, not run their lives. The problem is not that people are taxed too little. The problem is that government spends too much. The best social program is a productive job for anyone who's willing to work. The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." How do you tell a communist? Well, it's someone who reads Marx and Lenin. And how do you tell an anti-communist? It's someone who understands Marx and Lenin. The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave. I've always believed that a lot of the trouble in the world would disappear if we were talking to each other instead of about each other. Government exists to protect us from each other. Where government has gone beyond its limits is in deciding to protect us from ourselves. The best minds are not in government. If any were, business would steal them away. Man is not free unless government is limited. It's true hard work never killed anybody, but I figure why take the chance? We don't have $1 trillion debt because we haven't taxed enough. We have $1 trillion debt because we spend too much. The most important view of the world that you have is the one you look at every day. That's your windshield view, not your rearview mirror. Surround yourself with the best people you can find, delegate authority, and don't interfere. There are no great limits to growth because there are no limits of human intelligence, imagination, and wonder. We will always remember. We will always be proud. We will always be prepared, so we may always be free. Freedom is the right to question and change the established way of doing things. It is the continuous revolution of the marketplace. We can and should argue our differences, but we should remember the importance of our common ground life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's not that our liberal friends are ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. The government's view of the economy could be summed up in a few short phrases. If it moves, tax it. If it keeps moving, regulate it. And if it stops moving, subsidize it. The best way to predict the future is to create it. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The most important office in a democracy is the office of citizen. We cannot play innocence abroad in a world that's not innocent. All great change in America begins at the dinner table. Inflation is as violent as a mugger, as frightening as an armed robber, and as deadly as a hitman. History teaches that war begins when governments believe the price of aggression is cheap. Government does not solve problems. It subsidizes them. Latinos are Republican. They just don't know it yet. Facts are stubborn things. Above all, we must realize that no arsenal, or no weapon in the arsenals of the world, is so formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and women. It is a weapon our adversaries in today's world do not have.